and gentlemen, my name is Janet Reposardi-Hoff, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Dan Lezzi. To my left is Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you doing?
Very good.
What's going on? Just getting done with the Saints Open, right?
Yep.
Busy beavers, you guys.
Busy.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
you guys
just
are something
one
else.
thing right into the next.
Right, right. Good time or what?
Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
What's
always
not
a
to
lot of
like?
fun.
Hot day though, right?
Very
Incredibly
hot day.
humid.
None of the guys wanted to give us their golf scores.
I don't blame
They all
them.
had a good time.
The rough is so deep
No
right
one was
now.
telling.
Oh, I had a couple bad holes, right? You know, wasn't for those 6 holes,
That's
I'd have
right.
probably shot like in the low 80s.
Yeah.
Wasn't for those 8 3-putts I had and those 2 drives that, and you know, if I had $10 trillion, I could own the world. But that's usually the way that goes, right? Just like the fishing stories.
Well, I would talk about fishing. I've been like sneaking a look here, and I'm really happy because I've been like begging you for the soft-shell crabs.
Oh, right, right. We just got those soft-shell crabs in here. I guess you can see them if I take this plastic off. We don't get the very large ones. We get some, they're called primes. The others are jumbos. You can see that we've really cleaned the heck out of them. I mean, I hear horror stories about people cleaning these things, you know.
Oh, I know.
Take them out of the seaweed, you know, wash them off, dunk them in the batter, deep fry them, and away with a little tartar sauce and we're in, right? So we'll get to this in a little bit. We also were going to, it's kind of a project, but a lot of people are talking to me about the spinach we do, the sauteed spinach and how we get it a certain way. I mean, I was watching a couple of guys on cooking shows. I gotta admit, I've never seen anybody take the trouble that we do with this spinach. I think.
Actually, yeah, I don't think we've ever seen spinach
Right.
on any of the shows.
Yeah, you've seen a little bit, but more times than not, they're steaming it and seasoning it at the same time. And we're trying to keep as much water out of the dish as possible. So we're going to show you how we do that. We were also going to, I was going to make a little shrimp and scallop dish with a few vegetables and a little vinegar type sauce. And I wanted to do I had a couple of pieces of chicken, the type of chicken you might have to at your barbecue. It's got breast meat, it's got some skin and some bone on it. I just wanted to go over a couple of things concerning barbecues in general. And just to mimic that, I have an oven on.
Okay.
And I have a grill pan to try to mimic that a little bit. So I guess we could get going, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I guess I could do a couple things at one time. I'm going to take some eggplant. A lot of people are into grilling vegetables.
Yes.
So I'll just take a couple hunks off of here. With the eggplant and any of these vegetables, I recommend that you cut them more thickly than thin. And that's the whole purpose of bringing this grill pan out. It has a lot to do with the shelf that you have above your grill.
Okay.
If you're going to go buy a grill, get a couple that have 1 or 2 shelves stacked up there, because quite often you're going to get a thicker piece of beef or this kind of chicken. And I like the grill temperature high to get the smoke going and get the flavor going. But if you're going to have the grill temperature that high, you know, some people have cold spots. They all have cold and hot spots. But generally, if you're turning the thing up, it's really hot. That's it. And so my favorite thing to do is cut these sorts of things more thickly, grill them, then season them, and maybe put them up on your upper shelf there and roast them as if you had them in an oven, or bring them into your house and finish them. But that defeats the purpose, I guess, of grilling outside. But I really am big on those thicker steaks, you know, because if you want the temperature that high all the way through, by the time you're done cooking it to the point that you want it, it's going to be very brown on the exterior coming towards the center, and you'll have maybe a line of purple on the beef on the inside, or you feel you're going to dry the chicken out just on the outside just to get the thing cooked all the way through. For instance, I would take the chicken and I would grill it, I would torch it, then I would take it off, season it, put barbecue sauce on it then, and put it up on the rack and just baby cake that thing along and let it maybe turn the oven, the grill down from maybe high to medium.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So we just wanted to work with that. We'll use a grill pan in our oven to mimic the, you know, the shelf. So the eggplant, here's how I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it thick like that.
Oh, all right.
You know, that kind of thickness.
Okay.
And same with some zucchini or what else would you do? Some mushrooms, peppers, all that sort of thing. Peppers, you can only get them so thick, right? But I have a grill pan on. I'm going to make a little bit of a kind of a marinade. I'm going to put some granulated garlic in there. And I'm going to put some salt and some pepper. I'm going to put a little oil. And you know, you could put stuff in here like teriyaki sauce if you're doing it, or Oriental way, some vinegar. But all I want to do is coat this, grill it, and get it and roast it. So pretend you got your grill going here. I got my grill pan. I have it on, it'll be on reasonably high, so it's hot. I'm just going to dip this into the oil, wipe it off. I just want to get it searing and going and smoking a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the chicken.
Now, does the grill have to be greased or anything like that before you...
Oh, you want it cleaned. You know, I think you should scrape it down, get it on real high for a while. I like to get it on, then it loosens everything up. And then, you know, hit it with a wire brush, and then take some towels. Be careful not to burn yourself, just wet towels, and you know, rub it all off. It'll come, it'll look like it was brand new. And we're going to do the same thing with the chicken. I'm going to put its skin side down.
And now will that get it crispy?
I don't know if it's going to get it crispy, but it's really going to make sure it's all barbecued up. You know, it's going to get that smoky flavor going, and you know, just get it to where you want it. And what we'll do is we're going to cook them like this, and then we're going to roast them in the oven, and I'll get busy with a few other things, and we'll check them out every now and then.
Okay.
While they're cooking there, I could, here's some of that spinach. We buy it by the bag. We like that broader, leafier, you know, just more traditional type of spinach. We've taken most of the stem off it, and we've washed it. So what we have here is what's left of some water.
Very little water.
Right. In fact, I have to go get some more water, I think. Some more hot water. I happen to find a little bit right over here. So we're not going to cook this all that long. I'm going to let that oven do a lot of the damage. So what we do is, normally I use a much bigger pot than this and a much bigger basket. But to get the spinach where we want it at the end, we're just going to put as little spinach in here as possible and just wilt it a little bit to get it into position. And this is the key to the mint. We want to break this spinach down here, not in the pan, so that when we finish in the pan, it takes 2 seconds. We don't feel like we have to steam it down, these piles of spinach. So we're marking this up here. How's the chicken doing? We can cook that a little longer. You don't need quite that much oil. I slop that up a little bit more than you really should have, but you can get the gist of what we're doing here. And you see this is wilting slightly, okay?
Right.
Just slightly. We want to break it down a little bit, like that. And it doesn't have to stay in here all that long. We just want to break the leaves down. But it tastes so good, you know, if you do it like this. It's really a lot of trouble. This is something you could do at home. You know, this is something I would do ahead of time. And put this together at the last second. Wash it, take the stems off, break it a little bit, steam it, because at the very last second, then you can put a pan on like we're going to show you and just torch it.
And it's ready to go.
All right, you can see the nice marks. We got the smoke going there. So pretend you're on your outdoor grill and you've got this stuff going. I say just get the outside done, get it on a high temperature, and that's the end of that. I'm going to get out and hit the ball a little bit today.
I hear that.
Going to play a little small ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little competition for the boys.
Ooh. Today's a competition day.
Today's the competition day. Might be one less shrimp on every dish by the time I'm done today. All right, I could season this a little more, I guess. And I guess I'm going to do just that. A little garlic. This is that granulated garlic. It's not a garlic salt. I could put more oil on here. You know, it's all according to what you like. How's our... See how that... See, that almost wilted a little too much. You want to be very careful not to bring too much water out of it. And I'll put a little bit more in.
And actually, that really takes virtually no time at all.
Right, it's not that big a deal.
No.
This is just if you really are very particular. You know, I grew up on that seaweed you took out of the freezer, but this, you know, we had 6 kids in the house. What are you supposed to, you know, this is not a large family dish, okay? So now we're going to put this in the oven here, as if that's your upper rack on your grill. The chicken, it looks like it's right where we want it to be. So that once again, I'm putting it on the sizzle pan here, and I'm going to, this is as if you were taking this off, maybe at this point, maybe now put some barbecue sauce on it.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean, both sides, and I'm merely going to season it. But I like to put the barbecue sauce on after we have browned the chicken.
And actually, that's different from, I think most people just lather it with the barbecue sauce. And
Yeah, they have it marinating it in it and stuff. That's a way of doing it, but it really sears it and burns the sauce and stuff like that. I say put the chicken on blonde and sear it, brown it, and put it up on your upper shelf or put it on a pan and then up there. But before, after you take it off the grill, put the sauce on that. It just bakes into it, and it's just a great thing, and you're not hitting the direct flame.
Right.
So we'll put this in here. So supposedly now we're on your upper rack and your on your grill. The spinach is just wilted, like you see. So this is something you could do, you know, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't have to put it back in the fridge. Put a little covering on the thing, and before dinner's going to start, this could be a really fun thing to produce. All right. Now what are we going to do?
Now what are we going to do?
We could cook the spinach. Well, why don't we do that?
Okay.
Let me get a real hot flame here. You want to use as large a pan as you possibly can. This is a 12-inch pan. You know, many of you might not have a pan this size at your home, but go out and buy one, all right? No, but get a pan, a wider type pan, and so you can get, it gives you a lot of room to maneuver. All I'm going to do is add a little, I'll wait till the pan gets hot. I'll add a little oil and some salt, some granulated garlic, and a little touch of pepper. Oh my Lord. Yeah, this dish is real nice, this shrimp and scallops. That's going to be a good one. We'll put that out. It's a dish that you can do a couple of different ways. We're going to end up making a sauce for it that we're going to reduce. But a real neat way of doing it, but you have to watch getting it very greasy and that sort of thing, is to just toss it with, brown some garlic and oil and a touch of vinegar and flip it like that. We're going to do it a different way today.
I love your sauces.
Well, that's...
Now, I understand. Now, are you doing the demi-glaze for the...
Yeah, we were
for the
working on that now. No, we won't need the demi-glaze for it. We're going to brown them themselves, but we are making a stock right here for a demi-glaze. We've got a bunch of veal bones that we roasted for a few hours, and we put it in here, added a few gallons of water, just covering the bones, and we're going to end up simmering this for 7 to 8 hours.
Wow.
And then we're going to reduce it a little bit and do some messing around with it to get this really, this sauce is so brown, velvety. You know, it's just a little French touch I like to add to our cooking. You know, we do a little.
About half of that home?
Pardon me? Yeah, it's great stuff.
I love
it's great stuff. So we're going to put a little oil in the pan. It's very hot. And this, you know, this is actual cooking time. You've got your dinner ready to go. The roast is in the oven or standing outside, or whatever the heck you're doing. You want to keep the oil at a minimum here. This is too much, I believe. I'm going to toss it into this pan. So now it's just kind of wet. The pan is wet, but it's really, really hot. And we'll put it all in, right? Well, now you can. But see, I think I took more of the oil out than I should have. It should be sizzling a little bit more than that. All right, you hear that noise level come up? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to add a little salt. You know, you can take raw garlic and brown that. That's just a different way of doing it, but I like the way this granulated garlic just melts into the dish. And a smidge of pepper. So the main thing here is that we want to keep it leafy, not watery and sogged out. You see how it's maintaining itself?
Yes.
So you're going to eat leaves of spinach that are cooked and seasoned and not, you know, over-oiled and whatnot, and it's not watery. It's just great stuff to eat.
Yeah, I think what happens when you have a tendency to take the spinach and put it straight into the pan, you wind up with a bunch of green mush.
Right. Isn't that nice and leafy?
That is.
Isn't that stuff? This is just a different world with spinach.
Mm-hmm.
Another world. I'll put it on this plate right here. I mean, that is nice, something to stick your fork into there. You don't see a lot of water, it's well seasoned, and it's not drowned with a lot of oil and whatnot.
Okay, now the eggplant is ready, I think.
Yeah, while we were off camera here, the eggplant was, touch the top of the eggplant and push on it a little bit. You can see this piece here. Over here, maybe it's not giving just a little bit, but what we're trying to do with the eggplant here is, you know, so often you get it where if you didn't cook it enough, it's raw, right? And nothing, almost nothing tastes as bad as raw eggplant.
That's true.
Or rotten, forget it. And it's such a, or it's so easy, 9 out of 10, 9.9 out of 10 times I've had it anywhere, it's just overcooked to protect the fact that you didn't undercook it. One bit of advice if you're doing this also is make sure you cut them all the same thickness. See this one here? This is going to end up being a little bit mushier than the rest.
Oh, yeah.
This one here, though, it's still got the texture of the eggplant, and this one could have stayed in a little longer. This one is perfect, and the skinnier one is a little underdone, but we were able to get it into the position that we got it into by using the oven or your top rack on your grill. You can hear that chicken sizzling away in there, right? And that's another, we're just pretending that we're up on the shelf, and it's got some barbecue sauce on it now, but it's roasting, it's not on the direct heat. All right, and this also enables you to keep your oven temperature, grill temperature up high when you're starting this stuff. So that's about that. But this eggplant is going to be wonderful. If you had a few pieces of zucchini, a couple roasted peppers, toss a little dressing on it if that's what you care for, have it dry, have it as a side dish, have it as an appetizer, or just have it as dinner. Me, I need a 20-ton steak to go along with it. But that's really neat, this eggplant here, and this chicken will be out shortly. So I guess while we're waiting for the chicken, we could get this shrimp and scallop dish started, right?
Sure.
I'll get some nice sized shrimp and sea scallops there. I'll get the pan on. Come on, pan.
Oh, I think nice size is an understatement.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I'm going to put it over some linguine. I've cooked the, par-cooked the linguine, not too far ahead of time. It still is very yellow, and I didn't overcook it. And this is something I feel like many people don't do enough of that at home. Have some boiling water there, par-cook your pasta. I mean, angel hair, I don't think it's a good idea. But some of these pennes and rigatonis and linguinis or fettuccinis that you're using, I feel like, you know, it's less of a project for you. And it'll be better for your timing when you're coming off with a meal, to know that you have to put that in the water. And when you do put it in the water, don't be afraid of letting it drain for a minute or two. Make sure the water's boiling that you put it into and that the water is off of it. Don't feel like you went right from the drainer, 3 whacks, and start tossing things into it because you haven't removed enough water. Nothing kills our pasta dishes and many of our dishes more than water. So you'll see that, you know, if you let it drain for a second or two, it'll evaporate off. You don't want it where it's all cleaning together, but almost. You almost want it to that point because now it's going to be the pasta and just the sauce and seasoning that you're using. Water's no longer a factor. Okay. I'm very big on that. All right, so we've got a little bit of oil that we tossed out of the spinach. I'm going to add a smidge more here. Always go less with the oil because you can put some more in anytime. I foolishly put the shrimp in first instead of the scallops. The scallops take a little longer, but that shows you where mine's at. I think my mind's on the golf course, Janet.
On golfing, I know.
I think my mind's on that quick backswing of mine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what's your golf tip for the day? We haven't heard that yet.
My golf tip for the day is to play tennis. Don't play golf. Don't aggravate yourself. I'm telling you. I'm nearing that midsummer point of the needing the sports psychiatrist. I need one. I need a psychiatric booth out on the course. This thing's a little whippy, isn't it? This is one of these licorice sticks. I heard you're supposed to be this for 65 and over, but I'm trying it. I'm going to give it a whirl. I guess I'm going to finish this dish pretty rapidly, so I'm going to put this pasta in the water right now. Then we're going to drain it. Doesn't take much. Let's watch the seafood here. We don't want to overdo it. We're browning it pretty nicely.
Great color.
Yeah, and that base is going to come up to the dish also. I'll be back in 2 shakes. So this is going to be plenty hot enough. The water was boiling. You know, if you want, maybe I could keep a lid on the thing. It's not going to be all stuck together. How's our stuff doing here? Most of the, I don't have to take the shrimp and scallops out. I think I can keep them in there because you can see most of the oil is out of there. Normally I like to toss the oil out first, but we used little enough oil. Also, you see how the shrimp is a little bit translucent over there? Right. I'm going to reduce that into a boiling stock for a few minutes just to marry the ingredients. So I'm going to take this off a little bit underdone. Alrighty? Now I've got some garlic over here, and it's all minced up. We put it in a food processor so it'll dissipate right into the dish. So I put a little garlic in there. You can always add a little garlic at the end. You don't want to dominate it. Right on the garlic, I'm going to pour some of this vinegar. You can also add a little more vinegar at the end. Oh man, that stuff's potent. I've got some clam juice here as a neutral, as a stock. I'm going to add that. I'm going to wiggle it around. See if I can get some of that good flavor off the bottom. The scallop and the shrimp, you know, try to incorporate these flavors into the dish. Let's get some salt and pepper on it. Then we'll check and see if I managed to overcook the chicken in the oven. So now I've got some artichokes.
Oh, I wish the folks at home could smell this. It is just heavenly.
I'll put a few mushrooms in. You know, any of these ingredients. You can put some asparagus, do anything you want. But I've got some oven-dried tomatoes. There's no skins and seeds. We roasted these, left them overnight in the oven. I guess that's enough. I'll save some to garnish the top, maybe. And I've got some basil leaf. That basil leaf, I'm going to wait on it, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've learned from experience about the basil, haven't we?
Right, when we torched that pizza pie, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? Unbelievable. All right, I'm going to get a plate over here and ready because I want to get this pasta on the plate. Let's see, it's sticking a little, but that's okay. Most of the water's off of there. And I'm just letting the shrimp and scallops get married to the dish, get it back to temperature. Put a little of this linguine on there. Oops. So let's start taking these out while it's reducing. We'll go every other one here. Maybe I could spread this pasta out a little more, right? So we have a little more room to work. Because you don't want to, you know, if you boil this shrimp and these scallops in there too long, forget it. These things will be like basketballs. So they're kind of spread out a little bit here. Now this sauce is coming together. And I'm going to let it reduce a bit. And at the very end, I'm going to add some basil and that butter that just melted right over there.
Oh.
I've got a little more butter handy. We won't use that butter. It's a little warm in here today, folks. What are you going to do, right? But it's looking pretty good here, right? How's our chicken doing?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so picture the barbecue sauce.
Nice.
Now I'm pushing on it. I can see it's done. You know, you got your barbecue sauce on there. It's real pasty and thick. Maybe you could garnish it with some parsley or chopped scallion and, you know, just do a little something special with it. All right, I think we're ready for that butter. I'm going to stir that in.
And that will thicken things up a little bit.
Right. Going to add some basil leaf to it. Get a little green, a little herb infusion. I'm not going to get too thick. That pasta was kind of, not gummy, but close to it, right? Which is the way I like it. This way I can be a little more liberal with the sauce. Got the artichokes on there. It's smelling good. It's looking good. All right. Now we'll get this over here. See if we can do a little something to make it more special and pretty.
Okay, Dan, you saved the best for last.
Yeah, we got.
You're trying to torture me.
No, we got the crabbies working. We're finally going to get them on camera here, and we'll just whip them up. And well, next time, Janet, we can get the main. You see the end of the dish here. We got the soft shell crabs. They're kind of crispy, kind of browned. little velvety light sauce, and we'll just have to get the cooking technique here the next time around.
Well, thanks for joining us in the dining room, folks. I'm a really happy camper today because Dan's going golfing and I'm staying and eating.
Yeah, you're going to sneak the soft-shell crabs in, aren't you?
That's not what I'm going to do. Let's take it away.
Flag it here for crying out loud. Yeah, what did we do? We did that wonderful wilted spinach, still leafy, just wonderful stuff. We're nuts for doing that, but you know, that's just the way it is. I feel like this is as good as we can get it, you know, and it's not any, it doesn't have that seaweed effect to it that 9 out of 10 times you're going to see. We've got the, we talked to you about that barbecuing technique. This is my preference, do what you like, but especially when you get these thicker type items. Use the, you want that grill up and then use your upper shelf, even if you do take the grill down. You could barbecue sauce it, do whatever you're doing with it. Once again with the eggplant, make sure you don't do what I did here. Cut them all the same thickness. Don't be afraid to cut them thick. Sear them, and again, put them on the upper rack or put them in your oven and roast them. We had that nifty little dish with the linguine, shrimp, and scallops and the various vegetables. That came out all right. It's a really nice dish on the light side with the sauce, right?
Right.
And our little soft-shell crabs that we managed to not get on camera again. I guess
Power outage.
next, a little power outage. Next time around, we'll get that recipe in there, but they're really wonderful, and we have a great recipe for them.
Okay, thanks, folks, for joining us again. My name is Janet Rapasardi Huff, and we'll see you on Cooking with Dan Luzzi next week. Good night.